So today I'm giving you a lesson from outside. Here's my buddy Ranger. And then of course you guys all know my baby Pepper. This is her little boyfriend right here. Yes, he's very loud. Alright, thank you. So today we're going to be talking about the 8 characteristics of life and then talking about what's considered biotic versus abiotic. So for the 8 characteristics of life, the first one is that living things are made up of more than one cell. So last year you guys should have studied cells, hopefully talking about eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells and plant cells versus animal cells. We're not going to get all into that kind of detail. Just know that living things are made out of cells. And cells are considered the smallest thing that's actually alive. Okay, the second thing is that living things can reproduce. We're not going to get all into the birds and the bees here. Just know living things reproduce. Y'all got to make more to keep your species living. 3, living things can grow and develop. So at one point in time, Ranger was even smaller and cuter than he is now, and now he grew up and he's an old man. So he doesn't like me talking about being an old man. Okay, so living things grow and develop just like you were once a baby. Okay. Just like you were once a baby and grew up. Alright, 4, living things obtain and use materials and energy to grow, develop, and reproduce. So how are you going to grow? How are you going to develop and eventually, reproduce for your species to continue? You need energy for that. And organisms obtain energy in many, many different ways. So for us, we eat food, Ranger eats food, Pepper eats food, but plants, they absorb energy from the sun. 5, living things respond to their environment. So you may have seen a plant before growing towards the sun, and that's because they're responding to their environment. Plants need that sunlight in order to grow and to go through photosynthesis. So they're going to respond to their environment. Just kind of like if it's cold outside, we start to shiver. That's our bodies responding to the environment. Or on what these nice days we're having, you might start to sweat. That's again your body responding to the environment. 6, living things maintain a relatively stable internal environment. So this means that inside of our bodies, it's going to stay 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, regardless if it's 10 degrees below zero or it's 100 degrees outside. Our body's going to stay the same. Dogs have their temperature that their bodies stay the same in. Trees have like a core temperature and they have to maintain a certain balance of water in order to stay alive. 7, living things are based off a universal genetic code. And so basically that's DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. So that's our genetic makeup. That's what makes you, me, the dog, etc. And then last but not least, living things evolve or change over time. So this just means that as species grow, they're going to be adapting to their environment so that they have the most survival. Okay, so those are the 8 things that make something living. And so if I was to give you a flower and a stick and to ask you which one is living, you would probably say the flower over the stick. However, both of these would be considered part of the living environment. So even though that this stick is no longer living, it's technically dead, it was once part of that living environment. And so anything that was once living or part of the living environment, we label as biotic. Remember, bio means life. So the stick is still part of that biotic environment. Same with this flower that'll eventually die due to the fact that it was plucked. Okay, now rocks were never alive. And so if it's something that's never been alive, we classify it as abiotic. Okay, so abiotic are things that have never ever lived, so they're potentially just considered non-living versus dead. because the rock was never alive, thus it can never be dead. So anything that has never been alive is considered abiotic. Same thing as like foil. Foil is a metal, it's made out of aluminum. So any of our elements that are on the periodic table that we talked about earlier in this year, those are all considered non-living because those are all elements. They're just chemicals that can make up living things, but them by themselves are considered non-living. So, quiz time.